All right, class. Today we're going to do something a little different. Instead of reading, we're going to take our first writing sample of the year. So here's our prompt. Just take one, please, and pass it around. And now, the instructions say that your prompt is to tell a story. Read along with me at the prompt instruction line at the top there. Tell a story of an important moment in your life or someone else's. That's supposed to say life. The person and events can be real or imaginary. That's what we're going to be doing here. I want to see where you guys are on your ability to write stories. We've practiced a lot of stories in class. Now let's see what you can produce in Spanish. Now, you're not going to be professional authors, right? In Spanish, we're in Spanish too. But you can still tell a story in the target language. So we're going to see what that looks like today. We're going to start, I think, with 5 minutes of brainstorming. It says brainstorming, draw a few plot circles to help focus and organize your story. All right, let's do a quick example of plot circles from La Chica Mimada.
Turkey.
Yeah. Okay, so you need to do something. You need to pick an event in your life or in the life of somebody else in the past that you could tell about. And
So
brainstorm for 5 or 7 minutes. Yeah, it has to be in the past tense. Yeah.
So it can be imaginary.
It can be imaginary. You can make it up, yeah. Or it could be about yourself, or about maybe like your father or your mother, or it'd be harder to pick like Martin Luther King or Barack Obama or somebody else, but you could if you feel like you could talk about a significant story in somebody else's life. Any other questions? All right, let's take 5 or 7 minutes to brainstorm. Can you repeat your question?
Do you want us to brainstorm in Spanish or English?
I think you should definitely brainstorm in Spanish because you're going to have to communicate your essay in Spanish or your story in Spanish.
Okay.
How do you say Halloween in Spanish?
So I can't tell you anything. This is a writing sample. So you can create the story within a communicative context that you can write about. Like if you remember Thanksgiving, then you can change the event to Thanksgiving Day, for example.
Okay.
Or you could just say the 31st of October, if you know how to say 31st of October. There's lots of ways that you can describe the same thing, but using words that you know in Spanish.
Okay.
And I use add on to like a story I've read like on the books on the shelves.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, you could choose a story from one of your books that you've read.
Thank you.
So, my sister really likes otters, and that's been like a very important part of her life. Like, she wants to become a marine biologist. So I want to write about otters, but I don't think I know how to say otters in Spanish.
Okay, so just say that she's interested in something that you know how to say in Spanish. What's an animal that you know how to say in Spanish?
I guess I could just say she's interested in like ocean sciences or like sea sciences.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
But you have to have a problem that she faces and a resolution. It has to be a story, not just information.
Going broke and not having money and then getting stuck in like a 9-to-5 job that she doesn't enjoy. I mean,
And stories have resolutions, so maybe you
resolution
should
is
make
her
up.
being happy. Right?
Okay. Now that we've written our essays, our stories, we need to see where we are. So on these sheets of paper, there's 12 stages. There's descriptions for 12 different levels of writing that all have to do with telling a story, narrative writing. And you all fall somewhere from 1 to 12. So the next portion of class, we're going to work in groups of 2 with each person's papers to figure out where we fall. You have to read the descriptions carefully, and then you have to review. You should read your story to your partner, do that first, and then start reading the descriptors to see where you think you fall. And this is without judgment, okay? It doesn't matter whether you're level 1 or level 7. The point is, you need to know where you are in order to know where to go, right? What we're going to do at the end of class is, once we all establish what position we are, we need to figure out what kind of skills we need to develop to improve, right? So, without judgment, just see where you fall on the scale that I'm going to give to you. All right, so first, we're going to get in our groups of 2, new neighbors. We're going to read each other's stories, and then we're going to reflect on the sheet of paper. Make sense? Any questions? Okay, cool.
There is a banana. The banana doesn't have friends. The banana wants friends. The banana is in the class of Espanol or of Spanish alone. The banana is very sad because he has no friends. Alex is a student in the class of Spanish. Alex doesn't have friends. Alex is very sad because she doesn't have friends. Alex sees the banana in the class of Spanish. Now, Alex and the banana are friends because they had no friends. Alex likes the banana, and the banana likes Alex.
So, on my little worksheet here, there's a section for you to reflect on what level you're at. And what does it say here? And then the next section says, what do you need to do to reach the next level? So, to satisfy that instruction, you need to read the next level, and maybe the one beyond that as well, to see what skills you should be working on in class, what things you should be focusing on when we work on shared writing, or when you listen to me, that you can take special notice of so that you can add it into your writing soon. And then, at the very bottom of the sheet of paper, there's a section where you can say, you can reflect upon what are some things you can do in class to help focus your attention. So not just like what skills, but like what activities, how can you be actively pursuing those skills? So let's work on completing the back 2 sections at the bottom. And it's going to be a silent activity. We're done with our groups for now. So let's get pencils to paper.
Class A, Silencio and Trace.
Shh.
Dos.
Okay, so we've done lots of reflection now, individually, but this is an individual class, right? We have classmates. So, and you only have one teacher, me. I've got to get everybody to the next level. We have to work together, right, to get to the next levels. So, let's share some of the specific strategies that we should work on together. What I mean by we should work on is I should build into the Spanish that I'm providing you, right? So you can hear it, you can read it, and that will translate then to your writing in the future. So, let's just get some cold calling. What are some of the strategies? Or do we have volunteers? I prefer volunteers. What are some of the strategies that we need to work on over the next month or so?
As a class of students, or as what we're telling you, like as a teacher, that you could improve on?
No, we all have room to improve. I'm saying, what things do you need to hear and read in Spanish to make your writing better? So that you can move up the narrative, storytelling, writing stuff. Stuff's the terrible word. Continua. Dominic.
I would say more like writing practice, like applying like more than one sentence. Like 'cause sometimes we have to like short answer, but it's only one sentence. It's not like fully like creating like a paragraph.
Okay. Can you say it again?
Instead of like a short answer, like a single sentence, like more of like an analysis really help. I think me it least.
All right, so what is a phrasing from a certain level that communicates that idea Dom.
What, 4 to 5 sentences together?
Yeah, keep going to identify the skill needed to create that. Like 4 to 5 sentences together is the overall idea. How do you get there? What are the next words there?
And another group of 4 or more sentences flows through paragraph, and topic.
So I think what that's describing there is, like, to get there, we need connector words to create logic between our individual sentences. Connector words is a description that comes up in the descriptors for building out logic in individual sentences. What are some examples of connector words that that can build connections between individual sentences? Isaac.
Also,
Uh-huh. What are some others? Yes, Caroline.
Additionally.
Some others? Yep, Aislinn? Good. All right, and there's many more. What are some other skills? Ace?
Verbs.
Uh-huh, can you
or,
be specific?
like more action verbs? Instead
Okay.
of, like walking or stuff like maybe sprinting
Uh-huh.
or fighting, like stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so specific
Finance is
activities
never the
beyond
answer.
our current capabilities. Okay. What else? Caroline.
Just more vocab in general, like for different things, you know, like
Uh-huh.
just more vocab. That's about all I have to say.
Sure. That will come in time. I think every day, I'm not sure if there's a specific strategy associated with that, because every day we get tons and tons of more vocabulary, and you'll be able to produce more and more. Do you have an idea of how to solidify new vocabulary? Perhaps that's something that we could build on? Ace?
Didn't we do like a spelling test last year where you had the vocabulary and you had to align it with the definition? That helped me learn a lot of basic like descriptor words.
I'm having a hard time remembering what that was.
So you
Me
gave
too.
us, like you
I don't
gave
think
us,
we
like,
should do it then.
You made flashcards or whatever, and you had to redo the flashcard and then put them on a quiz or something.
Talking about Quizlet?
Yeah.
Was it Quizlet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Quizlet. Okay. All right, so maybe we could build Quizlet lists from our content from class
Yeah.
that you could practice at home.
Because I think repetition is one of the key things that we need. Because it's hard to just like
Read it once in a book.
Yeah.
And be like,
know the words.
You have to like repeat it 700 times to actually get it in your head.
And even then, if it's just a word, we have to be able to use it in a sentence, not just be like, oh, that's blah blah blah. We have to be able to use it in a sentence.
And I
Okay.
need to learn how to spell words.
Let's pivot though. I want to ground our conversation with specific descriptors from the next level up. What do you need to do to achieve that next description? Sweat.
Well, okay, so for level number 5, they wanted, for level number, it was somewhere, it said, like, dialogue
Uh-huh.
within it. Okay, so 8, apparently. So I was thinking, when I was, like, reading the books, I would, like, try to, like, translate everything, but I wouldn't, like, really pay attention to how the author's writing the dialogue itself.
Right.
So, like, pay more attention when I'm
Right. A lot of these skills are just writing skills in general. They don't have anything to do with Spanish. But to make our Spanish writing better, we can raise your hand if you used dialogue in your narrative writing. A few people, a third of the class or so. Yeah, dialogue makes our books that we read more interesting. And when we create narrative writing ourselves, dialogue is something that builds interest. Is there anything specific with structuring dialogue that you need to practice? Isaac?
The difference between present and past tense.
Ah. Okay. Yeah, raise your hand if you wrote in the past tense. Exclusively and accurately.
Not exclusively, like accurately.
Accurately meaning like you followed the conventions that are correct.
But I just, yeah, he usually has to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at a lot of papers and most people wrote in the present tense, even though I specified to write in the past tense. And that's because we need to build confidence in the past tense, I think. Is that widely believed in the class as well, that we need to build confidence in the past tense? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so.
It's kind of hard to word it, like the way you want to word it in the past tense. Like we know the words on how to word it, but it's difficult putting them together.
Yeah.